Welcome to the Ultimate Sports Blog Podcast. Today is Friday, April 27th, 2018. Today I'm going to recap the first round of the NFL Draft, look ahead to the next two rounds of the NFL Draft, go over my winners and losers, go over the Stanley Cup playoff action from last night as well as the NBA playoff action, go over Major League Baseball action, look ahead to tonight's action as well, and go over a couple NBA coaching moves at the end of the podcast. All right, the first round, a couple surprises, a couple not surprises, and a few reaches, a few steals, just like every time. I'm going to go through all the picks, and I'm going to give out my grades. Browns, Baker Mayfield, I'm giving them a C. There are better quarterbacks on the board, such as Sam Darnold and Josh Allen and Josh Rosen, but instead they take one that has, I think, the most bust potential because of his personality and gunslinger mentality, and that's where he gets the Johnny Manziel comparison from. But his upside is Drew Brees, and I guess they see Mayfield as the guy. 2, Giants, Saquon Barkley. I'm giving them an A because Barkley is the best player in the draft. Whoever picked Barkley for me was getting an A. If somebody got him at a steal, A+. The Giants get an A. They got the best player in the draft. He will help Eli Manning in that offense tremendously. Now they just have to improve their offensive line to earn themselves a decent draft grade. In my opinion, 3, New York Jets, Sam Darnold, they get an A. They finally find a franchise quarterback, as Darnold has a chance to be their best quarterback since Joe Namath. As I mentioned, he's the best quarterback in the draft. I had him as the 4th best overall prospect in the draft. If you're a Jet fan, you should be very happy with this selection. Number 4, Cleveland Browns, Denzel Ward, the cornerback from Ohio State. C+. I can't believe they took Denzel Ward here. Maybe it's because they know that the Broncos wanted him so bad, so they took him ahead of Denver. But other than that, I don't see why they didn't take Bradley Chubb or trade down for a team that was desperate. 5, Denver Broncos. Bradley Chubb, I give them an A. They got a top 2 player in this draft fall into their laps thanks to 2 quarterbacks going in front of them, and a Browns going with the reach, and the Giants going with best player available. So the Broncos go with the Giants' approach of best player available and take Bradley Chubb, and he would be a good partner with Von Miller in that pass rush in Denver. So the Broncos got an A for that pick. 6, Indianapolis Colts. Quentin Nelson, the guard from Notre Dame. My grade for them is an A+. The 3rd best player in the draft falls to them at 6. The Colts had options here, trade down or take Roquan Smith, but I think they did the right thing in selecting the best offensive lineman in the draft. Andrew Luck better stay healthy because this guy, Nelson, is going to be special, as he has the multi-Pro Bowl potential and all-pro potential, and the Colts got themselves a player there, so credit to them. 7, Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen, quarterback, Wyoming. The Bills traded up to the Bucs spot to get Josh Allen. My grade for them is a B+. They get, in my opinion, the 3rd best quarterback in the draft. And finally, the Bills get a future possible franchise quarterback. He often gets compared to Carson Wentz, and the Bills should be happy that they didn't have to give up their 2019 first rounder or their 22nd overall pick. And I'll get to the Bills' 2nd pick in a minute. 8, Chicago Bears, Roquan Smith, the linebacker of Georgia. The Bears get a B+. Smith was the best linebacker in the draft. They probably noticed Bradley Chubb at 5 and said, oh my God, could you imagine if he falls to us? This would be delightful. And then they're probably hoping that Nelson would follow them, but no and no. They get Roquan Smith, which fills a need for them. They need playmakers, and Smith's going to be a good player in the league, so a B+ for the Bears. 9, 49ers, Mike McGlinchey, the tackle from Notre Dame. My grade for them is a B-. There are better players on the board, yet other needs to fill, such as linebacker and defensive backs. So I mean, yeah, you want to protect Jimmy Garoppolo, but I think you could have traded down to get McGlinchey. 10. Cardinals, Josh Rosen. They get an A. They traded up to get Rosen. It didn't cost them very much either. And Rosen's the second best quarterback in this draft, and he could very well be a star in the league someday. And he should start day one, although I don't think they will start him day one. 11, Miami Dolphins, Minkah Fitzpatrick, the defensive back from Alabama. The Dolphins get an A. Fitzpatrick falling this far is a steal for the Dolphins. They should be delighted. He'll help that secondary immediately. 12, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Vita Vea, the defensive tackle from Washington. My grade for them is a C. They already fixed the defensive line in free agency and trades by bringing in Jason Pierre-Paul, and plus they had bigger needs, such as defensive backs, especially in the secondary. I'm very surprised they passed on Derwin James. So my grade for the Bucs is C, although I think Vea is going to be a good player. Washington Redskins at 13, Daron Payne, the tackle from Alabama. Here's the second part of the theme I've noticed along the draft. The team in front of you takes the guy you really, really want. You saw that with the Browns taking Ward ahead of Chubb, and the Broncos really wanted Ward. You see the Bucs take Vea, who the Redskins really wanted. Instead they take Payne. Fills a need, but I think it was a reach of a pick, so C+ there. 14, Saints, Marcus Davenport, the pass rusher from Texas San Antonio. I give the Saints a D+ because they had bigger needs than that, and I can't believe they gave up a 2019 first-round pick to move up to this spot to draft Marcus Davenport. Like, really, Sean Payton? I know a lot of people were speculating Lamar Jackson here, but it ended up being Davenport. I just don't get it. You could have moved up to 18 to get Davenport, but not 14. Like, that's crazy. Again, this is probably the theme of the team ahead of you taking the guy you really, really want, because I was hearing that the Raiders really, really wanted Davenport. And as soon as I found out they traded back, I said, maybe Derwin James, if he's still on the board, maybe Davenport for the Raiders. But no, the Saints overpay and take Marcus Davenport. There were better players on the board than Davenport there. I mean, you could have, even if you got Derwin James, I would have given you an A, because Derwin James falling this far would be a steal, and he would just absolutely make the Saints secondary one of the best in the league. So the Saints get a D there. 15, Oakland Raiders, Colton Miller, the tackle from UCLA, the grade C+. I think taking Miller here was a tiny bit of a reach. I know the Chargers liked Miller, and a bunch of other teams liked Miller as well. But I guess he was on John Gruden's best player available list, and they decided to take him. Yeah, they didn't necessarily have a need on the offensive line, but I do think Miller would be a good player. So the Raiders get a C+, and I'm disappointed that they passed on Derwin James. He would have made that secondary better. And the guy I'm about to mention for 16, the Bills, trading up from 22 to get Tremaine Edmonds, the linebacker from Virginia Tech. The Bills get an A. They get a steal here. Smart move by them for trading up. They had a need at the linebacker position, so they get arguably the second best inside linebacker in this draft class. I'm a big fan of Edmonds. And that's another guy that I wouldn't have minded the Saints getting at 14, trading up for. Edmonds is a great talent, and Buffalo, to me, great job going up and getting a steal in Edmonds. I don't think they thought he'd fall this far. And they pounced on it, and the Ravens said, okay, we'll move back. 17, Los Angeles Chargers, Derwin James, safety, Florida State. Such a big steal. They get an A. Great pick by the Chargers. James is only going to make that secondary better. Yeah, they could have gotten a defensive tackle or an edge rusher, but they go with best player available, and good for the Chargers, so they get an A. 18, Green Bay Packers, J.R. Alexander, the corner from Louisville. My grade for them is a C. There were better corners on the board, such as Josh Jackson, and you could have went and got a linebacker, maybe Leighton Vander Esch, but instead you take Alexander, you get a C. Or they could have even gone offensive line to help protect Aaron Rodgers, but that's what the other rounds are for in this draft, to help you fill out your needs. And I give the Packers some credit for trading back. They got some assets to trade back up again. I thought that was a wise move for them. 19, Dallas Cowboys, Leighton Vander Esch, the linebacker from Boise State. My grade for him is a B+, or my grade for the pick is a B+. I thought this was a smart choice by Jerry Jones. Instead of going with the big, sexy wide receiver, you go with the need pick and Vander Esch. He'll make that linebacking corps better. I think this is a solid pick by the Joneses in Dallas. 20, Detroit Lions, Frank Rangro, the center from Arkansas. My grade for them is a C-. You had better options. You could have gone with Rashad Evans. You could have gone with Taven Bryan. You could have gone with Maurice Hurst. Like, your bigger need was with linebackers and pass rushers, but instead you go with an offensive lineman who I think in this spot was a bit of a reach. Although that is a need for them, but not a bigger need than pass rusher. So the grade for them is a C-, although I do think Rangro will develop into a fine player someday. 21, Cincinnati Bengals, Billy Price, the center from Ohio State. My grade for them is a B. Solid pick. James Daniels would have been a nice option here. I think the Bengals wanted to take Rangro, but the theme of the night that the team ahead of you takes the guy you really, really want plays a big part into this. As the Lions took Rangro, the Bengals really wanted Rangro. Instead, they go with Price, who I think is a better prospect than Rangro. So good job by Mike Brown and the Bengals there. 22, Tennessee Titans, Rashad Evans, the linebacker from Alabama. The Titans traded up. Good move for Tennessee, B+. I like Evans. He'll help them. They had a need at linebacker, so good pick. 23, Patriots, the guard from Georgia, Isaiah Wynn. I give them a B-. Yeah, they have to improve their offensive line, but you could have went and got a good defensive player in this spot. So I like Wynn. I think he's going to be a fine player, but I think you could have got him at 31, but maybe the Vikings take him or somebody else takes him. Maybe the Panthers would have taken him at 24, but instead they take DJ Moore, the wide receiver from Maryland. Great pick by Carolina. I give them a B+ there. Gives Cam Newton a weapon. 25, the Ravens take Hayden Hurst, the tight end from South Carolina. I give them a C. They had a bigger need at wide receiver, but instead they go with the tight end. I know John Harbaugh likes to use tight ends as receivers. I like Hurst. He's a fine player. But you could have gotten Calvin Ridley there or whatnot. But again, the theme of the draft, the Ravens really, really wanted DJ Moore. Instead, the Panthers took him. 26, Atlanta Falcons, Calvin Ridley, the wideout from Alabama. I give them an A-. Wide receiver wasn't really a need for them, but this pick's going to be a steal. He's going to be their number 2 receiver behind Julio Jones. And great pick to improve the Falcon offense. 27, Seattle Seahawks, Rashad Penny, the running back from San Diego State. I give this pick a C-. There were better running backs on the board, such as Sonny Michel and Ronald Jones and Nick Chubb. Instead, they go with the guy that I thought was going to be a 4th rounder in Rashad Penny. And you could have gone pass rush here. You could have gone secondary. But they do need a running back, but I get it. But there are better options on the board. 28, Pittsburgh Steelers, Terrell Edmonds, the safety from Virginia Tech. My grade for the Steelers is a D. There were better players on the board. There are also better safeties on the board. The guy from Stanford would have been a reach too, but he's better than Edmonds. Like, you could have got Josh Jackson, the corner. You could have even got a tight end with Dallas Goedert or Mike Gesicki. But no, you go with a reach with Edmonds here, and so you're getting a D. Although, nice moment. Best moment of the draft was seeing Ryan Shazier walking out and announcing the Steelers pick. So Good job by the Steelers for that, though. 29, Jacksonville Jaguars. Taven Bryan, the defensive tackle from Florida. They get a B+ here. They get a fine player here. They could have taken a receiver or even a corner, but no, they go with who they thought was the best player available. That defensive line is going to be absolutely stacked. 30, Minnesota Vikings. Mike Hughes, the corner from UCF. I give them a B-. That was a need for them. They could have gone Josh Jackson. They could have gone a bunch of different directions with this pick. They could have gone offensive line, but I think they really wanted Isaiah Wynn. But they go with a solid corner in Hughes to improve their secondary a little bit. 31, the Patriots. Sonny Michel, the running back from Georgia. They get a B here. I think this is a solid pick by the Pats because they have a needed running back. Although, I would have liked it better if they went defense here because they have a need at the pass rush and in the secondary, but instead they go with Michel, who I think is going to be a solid player in that offense. 32, Ravens trading back into the first round, taking the Eagles spot. Lamar Jackson, I give that pick a C-. That was a little weird. I guess they look at him as the long-term answer at quarterback after Joe Flacco's contract runs out. And maybe they see Flacco declining a little bit, so they take Jackson here to be the long-term answer at quarterback. So the grade there is a C-. Those are my grades for the first round. Round 2 and 3 previewed. There are a lot of good guys left on the board, such as Maurice Hurst and Josh Jackson, Will Hernandez, who I thought was going to be the Vikings pick at 30. You have Harold Landry from Boston College. So those are 4 really good players falling into the second round. You have Nick Chubb. You have Darius Geis. You have Ronald Jones, James Daniels. A bunch of good players still left. We will recap the second and third rounds on tomorrow's podcast. Want to go through the Stanley Cup playoffs real quick. 2 games. I forgot to pick them on the podcast. And if I did pick these games on the podcast, I would have went 2-0 because I would have said Penguins and Golden Knights. And indeed, the Penguins defeated the Capitals 3-2 to take a 1-0 series lead. 17 seconds into the game, Evgeny Kuznetsov's 5th of the playoffs, assisted by Alex Ovechkin and Tom Wilson, 1-0 Caps. There's no scoring in the second period. Third period, Alex Ovechkin, 28 seconds into the third period, his 6th of the playoffs, assisted by Tom Wilson and Dmitry Orlov, 2-0 Capitals. Here come the Penguins. Patrick Hornquist's 3rd of the playoffs, assisted by Justin Schultz and Jake Gutznell, 2-1 game. Sidney Crosby, 7th of the playoffs, assisted by Jake Gutznell, and Patrick Hornquist makes it a 2-2 game. And Jake Gutznell, 7th of the playoffs, assisted by Sidney Crosby, makes it 3-2 Penguins, as the Penguins take a 1-0 series lead. Matt Murray was great, kept the Penguins in the game. 32 saves on 34 shots. Braden Holtby, 22 saves on 25 shots. The Golden Knights destroyed the Sharks 7-0. Vegas takes a 1-0 lead. This was all Vegas. Cody Eakin, 2nd of the playoffs, assisted by Brayden McNabb and David Perron, 1-0. Eric Haula, 2nd of the playoffs, assisted by Alex Tuch and James Neal, 2-0. Jonathan Marchessault, 1st of the playoffs, assisted by Riley Smith and William Karlsson, 3-0. Alex Tuch, 2nd of the playoffs on the power play, assisted by William Karlsson and Riley Smith, 4-0 Knights. Second period, Shea Theodore, 2nd of the playoffs, assisted by Riley Smith and Jonathan Marchessault, 5-0 Vegas. Third period, Colin Miller's 1st of the playoffs on the power play, assisted by William Karlsson and Jonathan Marchessault, 6-0 Vegas. James Neal, 2nd of the playoffs on the power play, assisted by David Perron and Eric Haula, 7-0 Vegas was your final. In my opinion, your early Conn Smythe favorite, Marc-Andre Fleury, 33 saves on 33 shots. Martin Jones was pulled. He gave up 5 goals on 13 shots. And then Dell came in. He did okay in relief, 19 saves on 21 shots, as the Sharks are looking to rebound from that ugly defeat. 1 game on tonight, Jets Predators. I thought this was the best series of the second round. 8 o'clock, NBCSN. Give me Nashville here to take a 1-0 series lead. And one more series to predict on the podcast that I didn't do yet. Bruins Lightning. I think This is going to be a great series. The Lightning are coming off the 5-game series win over the Devils. And the Bruins are coming off the Game 7 win over the Toronto Maple Leafs. Give me Tampa Bay in 7 games, and I think this is going to be an outstanding series. So much good talent, offense, defense, and in net. I just think Vasilevsky's going to be the difference. He's been the better goalie in the playoffs thus far. Rask has been a little leaky. He was pulled in Game 5. He wasn't all that great in Game 7. So, the pick there is the Tampa Bay Lightning in 7 games. NBA, last night, the Bucks defeated the Celtics 97-86 to force a Game 7. Giannis Antetokounmpo 31 points, 14 rebounds in the win. Jason Tatum at 22 in defeat. Game 7 will be Saturday night. Tonight you have 3 Game 6s. Raptors Wizards 7 o'clock on ESPN News. I think Toronto closes out tonight thanks to the backcourt of DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry. I think Serge Ibaka will have a big game for them. I think the bench will come through. Yes, Washington's home, but I had Toronto in 6. So give me the Raptors to close out tonight. Cavaliers Pacers from Indiana. 8 o'clock ESPN. Mike Breen, Mark Jackson, Jeff Van Gundy on the call. I think the Cavaliers close out the Pacers tonight. I think the Pacers blew 2 golden opportunities to win. They blew Game 4. They had the lead in that game, and they could have won Game 5, but the refs are to blame for that, as they admitted that they were wrong, and they saw that LeBron indeed have goaltending. But that said, they probably called goaltending there. Indiana goes up by 2. LeBron could still, in theory, hit the buzzer beater there. So I think the Pacers blew their opportunity. So give me the Cavs to close out Indiana tonight. And Indiana's charming season. Thunder Jazz, 10:30 ESPN. Probably Mark Jones and Hubie Brown on the call. I think the Jazz close out the Thunder tonight. I had the Thunder in 7 in the series, but I just don't see the Jazz losing at home. They've been the better team for most of the series. They blew Game 5, blowing that 25-point lead in the third quarter. I think they rebound here at home, led by Donovan Mitchell, Joe Ingles, and Rudy Gobert. Let's say they beat Oklahoma City 110-103, and there will be questions about Paul George's future in Oklahoma City, as well as Billy Donovan's. And then I'm going to say 110-108 Cavs, and Raptors win a close one, 109-107 on the road. So I think the teams that are up 3-2 will all close out tonight. Baseball real quick. Only a couple games yesterday. The Braves defeated the Reds 7-4 as they improve to 14-10. Cincinnati drops to 5-20. Top of the first, RBI single Nick Markakis, 1-0 Braves. Top of the second, first career home run for Ronald Acuna Jr., 2-0 Braves. Top of the fifth, 2-run home run, Ozzie Albies, 4-0 Braves. Bottom of the fifth, fielder's choice, Jose Peraza, 4-1. Game-tying home run, 3-run shot, Joey Votto, 4-4. Top of the eighth, RBI double, Ronald Acuna, 5-4. RBI single, Dansby Swanson, 6-4. Top of the ninth, RBI double, Ozzie Albies, 7-4 was your final. Sean Newcomb, 6 innings, 5 hits, 4 runs, 3 walks, and 7 strikeouts. Leaves the game with a 4.23 ERA. Homer Bailey, 5 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs, a walk and a strikeout. Leaves the game with a 4.19 ERA. The Pirates defeat the Tigers 1-0 as they improve to 14-11. Detroit drops to 10-13. Felipe Vasquez with the win. Alex Wilson with the loss. The lone run in the game was in the bottom of the ninth inning. Walk-off home run, Corey Dickerson, 1-0 Pirates was your final. The Yankees defeated the Twins 4-3 as they improved to 15-9. That's their 6th straight win. Minnesota drops to 8-12. Dylan Betances with the win. Fernando Rodney with the loss. Top of the third, 2-run home run, Eduardo Escobar, 2-0 Twins. Top of the sixth, home run, Robbie Grossman. Bottom of the seventh, sacrifice by Aaron Hicks, makes it a 3-1 game. Bottom of the ninth, walk-off 3-run home run, Gary Sanchez off of Rodney. 4-3 Yankees was your final. Jordan Montgomery was solid. 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts. Leaves the game with a 3.76 ERA. Kyle Gibson, 6 innings, 1 hit, no earned run, 3 walks, 10 strikeouts. Leaves the game with a 3.33 ERA. He had a no-hitter going through 5 2/3. Then Brett Gardner broke that up with a single up the middle. Give the Yankees credit for the comeback win. Diamondbacks defeat the Phillies 8-2 as they improve to 17-7. Philly drops to 15-9. Matt Koch with the win. Ben Lively with the loss. Top of the first, 2-run home run, Gerard Dyson, 2-0 Diamondbacks. RBI double, Chris Owings, 3-0 Diamondbacks. Top of the third, 3-run home run, Nick Ahmed, 6-0 Diamondbacks. 2-run home run, David Peralta, 8-0 Diamondbacks. Bottom of the fourth, RBI double, Aaron Altherr, 8-1 game. Bottom of the sixth, RBI ground out, Aaron Altherr, 8-2 is your final. Matt Koch, 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 1.93 ERA. Lively, not a good outing, 2 1/3 innings. 7 hits, 7 earned runs, 4 walks, and a strikeout. Leaves the game with an ugly 6.85 ERA. The Cardinals defeated the Mets 4-3 at a walk-off. They improved to 15-9. The Mets dropped to 15-8. That was a 13-inning game. John Gant with the win. Paul Sewell with the loss. Top of the first, RBI double, Yoenis Cespedes, 1-0 Mets. And no more scoring until the top of the seventh. Sacrifice by Yoenis Cespedes, 2-0 Mets. Bottom of the seventh, RBI single, Marcelo Ozuna makes it 2-1. Bottom of the eighth, RBI single, Tommy Pham, 2-2. Top of the 10th, bases loaded, walk, Jose Lobaton, 3-2 Mets. Bottom of the 10th, game tying, RBI double, Jose Martinez, 3-3. Bottom of the 13th, walk-off single, Dexter Fowler, 4-3 Cardinals was your final. Carlos Martinez, 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 3 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 1.43 ERA. Noah Syndergaard, 7 innings, 6 hits, 1 earned run, 7 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 2.86 ERA. The Mariners defeat the Indians 5-4 as they improve to 14-10. Cleveland drops to 13-10. Cleveland clearly missed Andrew Miller in this game. Maybe they win if he wasn't hurt. Dan Altavilla with the win, Nick Goody with the loss, Edwin Diaz with the save. Top of the third, RBI triple, D. Gordon, 1-0 Mariners. RBI double, Gene Segura, 2-0 Mariners. RBI single, Robinson Cano, 3-0 Mariners. Top of the fourth, RBI single, Nick Zeno, 4-0 Mariners. Bottom of the sixth, home run, Yonder Alonso, 2-run shot, 4-2 game. Bottom of the seventh, RBI double, Jason Kipnis makes it 4-3. RBI single, Edwin Encarnacion, tie game, 4-4. Top of the eighth, RBI double, Kyle Seager, 5-4. That's your final. James Paxton, 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, and 10 strikeouts. Leaves the game with 5.12 ERA. Mike Clevenger, 6 innings, 8 hits, 4 earned runs, a walk, and 5 strikeouts. Leaves the game with a 2.56 ERA. The Rays defeated the Orioles 9-5 as they improve to 10-13. Baltimore drops to 6-19. Chris Archer with the win, Dylan Bundy with the loss. Top of the first, 2-run home run, CJ Cron, 2-0 Rays. Top of the second, 2-run home run, Wilson Ramos, 4-0 Rays. Top of the third, RBI single, Daniel Robertson, 5-0 Rays. RBI single, Wilson Ramos, 6-0 Rays. Bottom of the third, Trey Mancini, RBI double, 6-1. RBI single, Manny Machado, 6-2. Top of the fifth, RBI single, Joey Wendell, 7-2 Tampa. RBI single, Alex Smith, 8-2 Tampa. Bottom of the fifth, 2-run home run, Adam Jones, 8-4 game. Bottom of the eighth, home run, Danny Valencia, make it 8-5. Top of the ninth, the throwing error by Chance Sisco scores in Carlos Gomez after he stole third base. 9-5 Rays was your final. Chris Archer, 5 1/3 innings, 11 hits, 4 home runs, a walk, and 7 strikeouts. Leaves the game with an ugly 6.61 ERA. Dylan Bundy, not a good outing. 4 2/3 innings, 11 hits, 7 earned runs, a walk, and 4 strikeouts. Leaves the game with a 2.97 ERA. The Red Sox defeat the Blue Jays 5-4 as they improve to 19-5. Toronto drops to 14-10. Chris Sale to win. Marco Estrada with the loss. Craig Kimbrell with the save. Bottom of the first, sacrifice by Kevin Pillar, 1-0 Blue Jays. Bottom of the second, Devin Travis home run, 2-0 Blue Jays. Top of the third, RBI double, Andrew Benintendi, 2-1 game. Bottom of the third, home run, Justin Smoke, 3-1 Blue Jays. Top of the fourth, sacrifice by Rafael Devers makes it a 3-2 game. Top of the fifth, go-ahead home run, Hanley Ramirez makes it 5-3 Red Sox. Bottom of the seventh, RBI ground out, Kendrys Morales, 5-4 Red Sox was your final. Chris Sale, 6 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. Leaves the game with a 2.31 ERA. Marco Estrada, 5 innings, 8 hits, 5 earned runs, a walk, and 5 strikeouts. Leaves the game with a 6 ERA. The Cubs defeat the Brewers 1-0 as they improve to 12-10. Milwaukee drops to 16-10, so their winning streak is over. Kyle Hendricks with the win. Chase Anderson with the loss. Brendan Morrow with the save. The lone run of the game. A home run, Kyle Schwarber in the bottom of the 6th inning to give the Cubs a 1-0 win. Kyle Hendricks had a great outing, 7 innings, 4 hits, no walks, no earned runs, 5 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 3.1 ERA. Chase Anderson wasn't bad, 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 2.86 ERA. Last but not least, the White Sox feed the Royals 6-3 as they improved to 6-16. Casey drops to 5-18. Lucas Giolito with the win. Jacob Judas with Joaquin Soria with the save. Top of the first, home run, Yoan Moncada, 1-0 White Sox. Top of the fourth, home run, Wellington Castillo, 2-0 White Sox. Home run, Matt Davidson, 3-0 White Sox. Bottom of the fourth, 2-run home run, Jorge Soler, 3-2 game. Top of the fifth, home run, Trace Thompson, 4-2 White Sox. Top of the sixth, 2-run home run, Matt Davidson, 6-2 White Sox. Bottom of the eighth, RBI single. Alcides Escobar makes it a 6-3 final. Lucas Giolito had his best start of the early season, 5 2/3 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. Leaves the game with a still ugly 7.71 ERA. Jacob Junis, 5 2/3 innings, 6 hits, 6 earned runs, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts. Leaves the game with a 3.34 ERA. Today's slate of games, you have Brewers Cubs, Brent Stunner against Yu Darvish, Tigers Orioles, Mike Fiers and Chris Tillman, Diamondbacks Nationals, Zach Godley and Steven Strasburg, Braves Phillies, Julio Teheran and Aaron Nola, Cardinals Pirates, Miles McCullough and Stephen Brault, Rangers Blue Jays, you have Mike Minor and Marcus Stroman, Rays Red Sox, you have Blake Snell and Drew Pomeranz, Mariners Indians, you have Mario Ramirez and Corey Kluber, Rockies Marlins, you have Tyler Anderson and Jose Urena, Reds Twins, you have Luis Castillo and Phil Hughes, Athletics Astros, you have Sean Manaea and Dallas Keuchel. Let's see how Manaea does post no-hitter. White Sox Royals, Reynaldo Lopez and Danny Duffy. Yankees Angels, Luis Severino against Andrew Heaney. Mets Padres, you have Jacob deGrom and Clayton Richard. And Dodgers Giants, you have Heijin Ryu and Derek Holland. 2 quick things. J.B. Bickerstaff was hired as the Memphis Grizzlies head coach. Bickerstaff, I don't think, did a good job last year after they let go of Fizdale. I think Bickerstaff did okay as the Rockets interim a couple years ago after they fired McHale. Bickerstaff, I think it's weird that he got the job. I thought that Memphis was going to interview a bunch of assistants and whatnot. And maybe he'll do a solid job. We'll see. And last but not least, the Hawks parted ways with Mike Budenholzer. Budenholzer interviewed for the Suns job, ultimately withdrew himself, then interviewed for the Knicks job. I think he's the front runner to get the New York Knicks job. I think if the Knicks hired him, it'd be a fantastic hire now that they don't have to give up any compensation for him as the Hawks and Bud Budenholzer parted ways. I think the Hawks are going to miss Budenholzer, and the Hawks might not find that good of a replacement because I think Bud was a good coach. And I think if the Knicks hire him, that'd be a home run hire for them, even though they're in a rebuild. All right, that's it for today's podcast. I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything, including the second and third rounds of the draft, Stanley Cup playoffs, NBA playoffs, baseball, and any other news that breaks. I hope you guys have a great day, everybody.